half hour ago. Follow the steps on the email.
I'm sure you got an email from Pat McCarthy about a half hour ago, and you can log on to the email.
Sorry for the delay.
Oh, no problem.
Video's live.
On Tuesday, April 28, 2020, we'll call the public hearing to order. This public hearing is regarding the proposed downstate small business stabilization grant application provided by Community Development Block Grant Fund in the state of Illinois. Pursuant to its response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the state of Illinois, through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, has repurposed $20 million in CDBG funds to stand up the Small Business Stabilization Program. The fund offers small businesses up to 50 employees the opportunity to partner with their local governments to obtain grants of up to $25,000 in working capital. This hearing covers application requests submitted by Trendsetters Design, Inc.
A participant has left the meeting.
And Chatham Chiropractic Clinic. If you would like a copy of the applications, please contact Pat McCarthy and T. McCarthy at chathamil.gov or call 217-697-5809. As part of the requirements for this public hearing, a sign-in sheet must be completed of all in attendance. Given that this hearing is being held virtually in accordance with provisions allowed for within the statewide response to the COVID-19, Madam Clerk, can you take a roll of current known participants on this call?
Yes. So this is everyone, Dave?
Yes, you have to have record of everybody participating.
And I have Pat McCarthy,
Here. Here.
Brett Gerger,
Present.
Steve,
Repeat that, Amy.
Sherry Durkeen. Here. Dave Lindsay.
I'm here.
Julie Shepard,
Here.
Greg Mordock,
Here.
Kristen Charo,
Present.
Matt Mao,
Present.
Megan Brown,
Present.
Chief Foley,
Present.
What you said?
He's here.
Present.
Paul Sturchel,
Present.
Ryan Mann.
Present.
Is there anyone that was missed?
There's a caller.
Including any members of the public. Correct, yeah. Anybody is dialed in and is calling has not already been identified. Can you identify yourself for us at this time?
Ryan, are you there?
Joe
Joe.
Butler. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Oh,
Has left the meeting.
All right, so several requirements we have to go through on each of these items. We address each application individually. First, on the Trendsetters Design, Inc. Requirement one is us to address the amount of funds available. As the Village of Chatham is not a HUD direct entitlement community, we defer to the state of Illinois through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and their repurposed $20 million in CDBG funds that have been made available to Small Business Stabilization Program to make the final determination on overall funds totals availabilities. Qualifying small businesses through their local government are eligible to submit the grant request up to $25,000. State will issue the grants on a rolling basis and make the determinations on fund availability and access to this capital as applications are processed. Item two is the activities to be undertaken with the grant funding. The program component makes funds available for 60 days of verifiable working capital up to a grant ceiling of $25,000 and is available to businesses that employ 50 people or less. The funds may be used to assist private, for-profit, small retail and service businesses or businesses considered non-essential by the governor's executive order without the ability for employees to work remotely. Trendsetters Design requested $24,726.97. The public hearing requirements for this grant include giving a detailed, prioritized list of community development and housing needs. As the Village of Chatham is not a typical HUD direct entitlement community, and the state repurposing of its funds makes the priority list specific to 60 days of verifiable working capital funds of qualifying small businesses as it relates to Chatham and these applications. That would be our specific prioritized list of needs, is that 60-day funding. And the final requirement, I will defer to Megan Henley Brown to provide a narrative discussion of the scope of her project and the business that she operates. So Megan?
Hi there, thanks for having me this evening. So basically we're seeking the funds to offset our general 60 expenses of the firm, which would include payroll, basically the scope of fixed costs, so that it does not deplete all the working capital that the firm has in order to maintain employment and a place within the community, in the future.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board or anyone in the public for Trendsetters Design and for Megan at this point in time?
I'll just add that I've been able to communicate with Megan several times the last couple of weeks, and I know she put a lot of effort in putting together her application and doing that, so I want to appreciate everything. It's just being a small business in our community. So having worked on large grants before, I know it's cumbersome, and she certainly, this is not normal for us to do. So, I know that was not easy, so appreciate it. And I also want to thank Jill and Pat for their help in working with Megan and the others on the application. So I want to recognize them because I know Megan's put a lot of work into it as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I second that. As a business owner in the community, it's very exciting to see the village, work with us as business owners to keep us viable in the community, because I know this is a lot of work to be able to, get this application through.
I'm glad that we were able to do this opportunity and opening businesses inside. And because, our businesses in Chatham is a good, I'm glad we're able to moving forward.
I can't get these guys to get me.
All right, thank you. Matt, next time you speak closer to the microphone, that'll help us out. But any other comment or questions during this portion? All right, hearing none, we'll move to application 2. And forgive me as a lot of this starts to sound redundant as we do this 3 times over tonight, but we have to, in each instance, run through all these requirements that are provided in DCEO's guidebook on this grant. So, for 2, PowerWorks Fitness Center, the amount of funds available as the Village of Chatham is not a HUD direct entitlement community. We defer to the state of Illinois through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and the repurposed $20 million in CDBG funds that have been made available to the Small Business Stabilization Program to make their final determination on overall funds totals available. Qualifying small businesses via their local government are eligible to submit grant requests for up to $25,000. The state will issue the grants on a rolling basis and make determinations on fund availability and access to this capital as applications are processed. The program component makes funds available for 60 days of verifiable working capital up to a grant ceiling of $25,000 and is available for businesses that employ 50 people or less. These funds may be used to assist private, for-profit, small retail and service businesses or businesses considered non-essential by the governor's executive orders without the ability for employees to work remotely. PowerWorks Fitness Center has requested $25,000. The public hearing requirements for this grant include giving a detailed, prioritized list of community development and housing needs. And as the Village of Chatham is not a typical HUD direct entitlement community, and the state repurposing of funds makes the priority list specific to 60 days of verifiable working capital for qualifying small businesses as it relates to Chatham in these applications, that is our priority list. And has Dr. Taylor been able to join us on the call?
If he hasn't, I've seen the application, Dave, and I can read the summary of his business if you'd like.
That's what I was pulling the same thing up to find in his. So follow along with me, Paul, and if I miss something, add it in at the end. Okay. The areas affected by the project, PowerWorks Fitness is a community fitness center, currently closed due to virus quarantine. And the description title of the applicant's project is funds for the recovery of the business and fitness and health, and the closure due to the temporary quarantine and related. Paul, do you see anything other that gives the descriptions in there?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I think there's a separate description of the business, similar to what they stated, but yeah.
I found that. Dr. Taylor will provide other details on PowerWorks Fitness. Is a developing business in health for the 10 years, provides health and support to our community with sponsorships and donations, as well as helping individuals and families and supporting schools and sports with a variety of programs. It is expanding and growing business in fitness and health education on the health movement, nutrition, and lifestyle changes. The business plan focuses on the centering of helping people and the future goals and has future goals for expansion programs to help families. The unforeseen closures affecting many, this will provide the funding to help ensure that they can stabilize the business and ensure property, taxes, equipment, and elections can remain to be able to help the people of our community. Is there any questions or additional comment related to PowerWorks? All right, hearing none. For the third application that's considered in this public hearing tonight is Chatham Chiropractic Clinic. The amount of funds available is the Village of Chatham is not a HUD direct entitlement community. We defer to the state of Illinois through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity and to repurpose $20 million in community development block grant funds that have been made available to the Small Business Stabilization Program to make the final determination on overall funds totals available. Qualifying small businesses via the local government are eligible to submit grant requests for up to $25,000. The state will issue the grants on a rolling basis and make determinations on fund availability and access to this capital as applications are processed. The activities to be undertaken with this grant program. The program component makes funds available for 60 days of verifiable working capital up to a grant ceiling of $25,000 and is available for businesses that employ 50 people or less. The funds may be used to assist private, for-profit, small retail and service businesses or businesses considered non-essential by the governor's executive order without the ability for employees to work remotely. Chatham Chiropractic Clinic has requested $25,000. The public hearing requirements for this grant include giving a detailed, prioritized list of community development and housing needs. The Village of Chatham is not a typical HUD direct entitlement community, and the state repurposing of funds makes this priority list specific to 60 days of verifiable working capital funds of qualifying small businesses. As it relates to Chatham, these applications, that is our priority list. For narrative discussion of the scope of the project in the application provided by Dr. Taylor, the Chatham Chiropractic is a chiropractic community health fitness center for families that is currently closed due to requested quarantine from viruses. This one. Excuse me, this is one. It's a really long application.
A lot of scrolling.
Yes. Paul, am I missing the recap in here? Did you find it?
No, I just like in your letter, just
Jason.
Has
Right,
joined the
sorry.
meeting.
it's Chatham Chiropractic Clinic has been a part of the Village of Chatham since February 2002. It normally employs 5 people and has been negatively impacted by the COVID-19 emergency and requires urgent assistance. That should be. And then I think similar information from PowerWorks Fitness in terms of the role, different things they do.
Yes. Okay. Anybody have any comments or questions regarding Chatham Chiropractic? Okay, hearing none, I haven't covered the requirements, and Jill, if you're still on there, did we miss any requirements that you think we missed?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you, Jill, for your time and putting these together and making sure that we covered everything. All right, so with that, we will close the
Dave,
public hearing.
before you close that, I think Dr. Taylor just joined the meeting, so we might want to. Are you there, Brian? I see PW admin down there at the bottom. Anybody there from PowerWorks? All right, go on, Dave.
Okay. With that, we will close the public hearing, being 6:03 on my calendar, or clock, whatever you want to call that this day. We'll call the board meeting for the Village of Chatham Village Board to order, and if you'd all join me, please, in a moment of silence.
We're muted.
And if you could, the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Like,
All right, Madam Clerk, could you take the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee Mann.
Present.
Trustee Gerger.
Present.
Trustee Charo.
Present. Jill.
Have left the meeting.
I assume you asked me president.
Thanks, Dewey. Trustee Mao.
Present.
Trustee Churchill.
Present.
Village President Kimsey.
Present, thank you. All right, public announcements. We had no public announcements emailed to the village board. Before we move past that, we'd like to once again offer our congratulations and gratitude to Sherry Durking. This morning we were notified that once again the Village of Chatham was awarded the prestigious Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association for our comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended April 30th, 2019. So Sherry, as always, we appreciate your thoroughness and attention to detail and all the effort that you and Kayla and the entire staff puts into producing such a thoughtful and full of disclosure report on an annual basis. So thank you very much, Sherry, for all that you do for the village. Also, no public comments emailed into the village board this evening, so we will move to the consent agenda. Trustee Mann, could I have a motion to put the consent agenda on the table?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Gerger, could I have a second, please?
I will second.
Okay, are there any questions or discussion regarding the items on the consent agenda, which include the village board meeting minutes, the warrant resolution, and a resolution accepting the resignation and reappointment of certain board and commission members? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you take a roll?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Yes.
Thank you. Now. Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Thank you. All business under new business, item 1 is a resolution supporting the National Fair Housing Month proclamation. Trustee Detmers, would you make this resolution?
Yes, I'll make it.
And Trustee Charles, can I have a second, please?
Second.
As part of the grant application process, the village has agreed to issue this resolution supporting National Fair Housing Month. The proclamation, where the Village of Chatham finds that decent and safe housing is part of the American dream and a goal of all Illinois residents. And whereas individuals in the state of Illinois have the right to choose where to live without discrimination based on race, color, religion, age, sex, familial status, marital status, national origin or ancestry, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, military status, unfavorable military discharge, and open protection status, whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness, and whereas federal and state laws affirm the right of every person to equal housing opportunities, And whereas fair housing is a positive community good, whereas economic stability, community health, and human relations in all communities in the state of Illinois are improved by diversity and integration, and whereas stable, integrated, and balanced residential patterns are threatened by discriminatory acts and unlawful housing policies that result in segregations of residents and opportunities in our region. Whereas the talents of grassroots and nonprofit organizations, housing service providers, financial institutions, elected officials, state agencies, and others must be combined to promote and preserve integration, fair housing, and equal opportunity. Now, therefore, I, Dave Kimsey of the Village of Chatham, Illinois, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2020 as National Fair Housing Month. Madam Clerk, would you take a roll of those in support?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger. Trustee
Yes.
Caro.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Okay, item 2 is a council resolution of support for the Community Development Block Grant for Trend Centers Floral Design, Inc. Trustee Churchill, can I have a motion, please?
I will make that motion.
Trustee Mao, can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion regarding this? I'll read this one, and then all three are going to be very similarly worded with the name of the business change. Council resolution of support for Community Development Block Grant for Trendsetters Floral Design, Inc. Whereas the Village of Chatham is applying to the state of Illinois for a Community Development Block Grant program, whereas it is necessary that an application be made and agreements entered with the state of Illinois. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the Village of Chatham applies for a grant under the terms and conditions of the state of Illinois and shall enter into and agree to the understandings and assurances contained in said application. 2, that the village president and the village clerk on behalf of the Village of Chatham execute such documents and all other documents necessary for the carrying out of said application. And 3, that the village president and village clerk are authorized to provide such additional information as may be required to accomplish the obtaining of such grant. Is there any question or further discussion regarding support resolution for Trendsetters?
I just want to reiterate, just like with the other two, you know, Megan put a lot of work into this application. It required a lot of time and effort. And so I just want to recognize that for her. And also, again, I want to thank Jill that put a lot of work into all these applications. And it took a lot of organization and effort, and for Pat. And I'm sure Sherry as well, but I know they spent a lot of time on this. So I just wanted to recognize them in the meeting for that effort.
All right, thank you, Trustee Churchill. And as our resident grant expert, we certainly appreciate the effort you put into helping us understand a program that Chatham hasn't used for almost 15 years, I believe. So thank you there. Madam Clerk, would you take a roll?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Caro.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Item 3 is a council resolution of support for community development block grant for PowerWorks Fitness Center. Trustee Mann, could you make that motion, please?
I will make that motion.
Trustee Gerger, could I have a second?
I'll second.
Same resolution, substituting the name PowerWorks Fitness. Any questions or discussion?
President Kimsey, I guess I should disclose my wife is not an employee, but she's a contractor at PowerWorks. So I don't know if I should abstain from this one or not. But I want to disclose that.
He looks like he's ready to speak. Attorney Murdoch.
You should probably abstain if she's receiving payment from that company on this vote.
She would not. She's not an employee, but I'll abstain anyway.
As a contractor, though, she's not volunteering her time, right? I mean, I don't want to deprive you of your vote.
Well, I think the funds are only going to the employees. I'll abstain regardless.
Okay.
Fair. All right, Madam Clerk, could you take the vote?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmers.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
I abstain.
Item number 4 is a council resolution of support for community development block grant for the Chatham Chiropractic Center. Trustee Charles, can I have a motion, please?
I will make that motion.
And Trustee Detmers, would you second?
I second.
Same resolution, this time substituting the name Chatham Chiropractic Center. Any discussion or questions regarding this? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you take the vote?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerber.
Yes.
Trustee Chara. Yes. Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill. Trustee Churchill.
I said yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, and just to reiterate at these points, these are, all three of these were for support of submission of a grant that will be awarded by the state. Nothing we've done here tonight guarantees that anybody gets the grant. I just want to be clear before anybody goes out and spends something. These are going to go through the state. The state will make the ultimate determination and will provide notification that way on any funding that may be awarded. So I'll put that caveat on there that our action tonight is to support the grant applications that the three of you have submitted in moving forward, play our role as kind of an intermediary in facilitating this grant process. So best of luck to you, and we'll get those processes quickly as possible. Item 5 is a motion authorizing the village president to execute an NDA regarding the sale of village property. Trustee Gerber, would you make that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
And Trustee Mann, would you second?
I will second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you take the vote?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerber.
Yes.
Trustee Charo. Yes. Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
Yes.
Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
And item 6 is an ordinance transferring appropriation authority between line items and adopting a supplemental appropriation for the fiscal year commencing the first day of May 2019 and ending on the 30th day of April 2020. Trustee Detmers, would you make the motion, please?
I make that motion.
And Trustee Churchill, would you second?
Second.
This is the ordinance that transfers line item appropriations and makes supplemental appropriations to account for purchases that were authorized by the board, like the street sweeper with the modifications of the green program during the year. Sherry had provided details of these line item transfers and the supplemental appropriations at the committee of the whole meeting 2 weeks ago. Is there any additional discussion or questions regarding this ordinance?
Just clarification on the supplemental list. Those come from revenues that we hadn't originally anticipated on receiving, or are they coming from a reserve or both?
As indicated in the ordinance, that there were funds on hand as well as funds received by the Yard Waste Recycling and Refuse Fund during the fiscal year, which were not appropriated. So some of it was reserved, some of it was additional funds based on the change of the green program fee from $2 to $4. And that there were additional funds on hand as well as additional funds received by the Police and Public Works Utility Tax Fund during the year that were not appropriated. So these were funds that were not previously appropriated. Thank you.
So, one question I have is the $40,000, it was because the street sweeper was more expensive than we thought? Is that correct? $40,000 is for equipment.
Correct. The street sweeper bid came in higher than what was originally budgeted, and the purchase was authorized by ordinance.
Right. So, but was it $40,000 higher?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Is that $200,000 for the total lease?
It was for the lease of the street sweeper, and it was approved by ordinance 19-28. Originally, we budgeted $160,600, and it came in around 200, I believe.
So, Sherry, does that mean then that will be in the budget in the following years, since that's accounted for in the...
Has left the meeting.
That's correct. We move it into the budget for the year that's expiring Thursday. Anything additional?
The other additional, the 15,000, that's for the branches that get picked up at our little dump site, is that correct?
Correct. Plus, we had some early expenses before all the contracts were awarded to get rid of leaves.
Okay.
That wasn't included in, I think we were just budgeting for what the contracts were going to come in at. So we have some additional costs there that required that line item be bumped up.
So for our dump site, why don't they pick that up just as part of the contract? Why are we having to pay extra? Because isn't that just all Village of Chatham branches? I mean, if people didn't pick them up and dump them there, wouldn't they have to pick them up off our streets?
Brett, there seems to be,
Pat sort of answer that one.
yeah, the branches that end up down there are from residents bringing things down there. Some of the branches that we take down ourselves, but mostly it's from branches being brought down by residents, or in some cases, if they hire a tree trimming company, they bring those branches down there too. So we were trying to put an end to it for one thing. But the reason is we were going to have those, we had the burn pile, and then the fire department asked us to stop burning. It was causing smoke and problems for the senior center over there. So after numerous complaints, we decided just to have the waste haulers turn around, take all those branches into Springfield. But to clean that up and to keep it cleaned up on a monthly basis so that it doesn't turn into a mess again, I assumed it was going to be a separate contract because they're paid to go around town and pick up things. I think we're duplicating services. I really think that in the future we need to close that you can't drop stuff on our property. Leave it at your house. We'll come by and pick it up once a month.
Right. I mean, because if they're Chatham branches, we're paying them to pick up Chatham branches. We're just making it convenient that they only have to pick it up at one place now. Whereas before, they're going to have to chase it all around town. If people do dump it there, I would think it'd be more convenient for them. Not an extra charge.
Yeah, so thoughts to keep in mind as that contract's redone, that original bid did not go out, including the dump site. At the time, you recall when those bids were done, the dump site back there was managed by fire. And we had to stop that mid-year, so that's part of that change. So certainly things to keep in mind as we go into the renewing contracts and what you want to look at in the future.
Because, I mean, if we close it down, it's going to be in the streets. Are they going to charge us more because they're picking up more then?
No.
I would think that would just be a spot in Chatham where they would have to pick up.
Should be good topic to add to your committee meeting.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other ones? You're not, Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Gerger.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Trustee Mao.
He left. He left the meeting.
Yeah, I heard he got disconnected.
Trustee Herschel.
Yes.
Okay, no public comments have been emailed in. Is there any other comments that anybody present would like to make? Hearing none, the schedule of meetings is Public Properties and Recreation, 6 p.m. May 11th. Village Board, 6 p.m. May 12th, followed by the Committee of the Whole at 6:15 or thereafter. Planning Commission, 6 p.m. May 21st. Village Board, 6 p.m. May 26th. And Utility Oversight Subcommittee, 6 p.m. on June 8th. We have no need for a closed session this evening. Having no further business, Trustee Charo, would you make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Churchill, would you like to second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, would you take a roll?
Well, good.
Trustee Mann.
He got appointed. Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't hear. Trustee Mann.
Yes.
Trustee Berger.
Yeah.
Trustee Charo.
Yes.
Trustee Detmer.
Yes.
Trustee Mann. Trustee Churchill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Everybody stay safe and enjoy the last 5 minutes where it somehow sounded like we were in an amphitheater. Stay safe. Appreciate your time.
Just so you know, this is water. And I was drinking water. It's water. See?
All right. This meeting's adjourned. Now you can talk about whatever you would like.
All right.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Carter saying something, didn't even realize. Everyone